Welcome to the Unemployed Friend podcast by Super Jake. I'm gonna kick off with the first question.
Okay.
You talked about how you wanked your imagination. Could you walk me through that process?
Oh fuck! This can't go on the internet. It's too like. No, this can't.
What's the process? What do you think? What do you think?
Oh, this can't. If this is how it's going to be, then this can't. It's too embarrassing. Once something's on the internet, it's on there forever, isn't it? So
is that your veto in that question? Are you?
Yeah.
Moving on to the next question then. Right. What's your question?
Well,
then?
I was going to ask you, what inspires you to create content?
I thought you were going to ask me about my foreskin.
No.
Is that coming up later?
No.
Ah.
No. Well, what inspires you to create content such as this? Why do you want to do it?
Well, as you know, I'm unemployed. And I want it to stay that way. So that's why I'm going to put all my time and energy into creating brain rot. Like this. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's fair enough, but videos got to have a budget, haven't they? From somewhere, otherwise it'll just be sort of low quality, two men sat in a field. You know.
Okay. But the current videos I'm doing don't need a budget.
No.
And someone did donate 20 quid, although YouTube took like half the money.
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, fucking bastards. Unemployed people like me need to make a living. Right, and YouTube are taking that away from me. Would you stay doing this if it blew up?
Yeah.
Even if I keep asking questions like I have done?
Well, yeah, I'd stay doing it if it blew up.
You'd keep doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's only, a couple of hours out of my day, not my week.
Yeah. And if you got paid for it, you'd carry on? You wouldn't quit your job, would you?
I wouldn't quit my job, no, but if I was getting paid for it, it'd be more of an incentive. Right, you haven't framed this very well, have you? Because you're looking at me and you're having to do that.
Well, that's okay. That's nature, innit?
Otherwise,
Sun.
Yeah, we should have probably had the sun behind us. Well, it's behind me, which is fine, because when you're looking at me, you're having to squint or do that. So when you clip this to make brain rot, all your clips are going to be of you doing this.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
You're
it
doing
doesn't matter, does it?
You're just going to be doing that the entire time.
I don't mind. The sun will go down in a minute. It's travelling thousands of miles an hour. It'll soon move behind a cloud. Maybe. It's really hot, isn't it?
We're travelling around the sun, though, aren't we? So we'll travel thousands of miles an hour.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. Neil deGrasse. Amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Would you like? Is it my turn to ask a question?
Yes.
Have we settled whatever that question was about?
Yeah. What's your next question?
All right. Well, I'm scared of asking now. How many times a week do you fire one off?
What?
How many times a week do you fire one off?
Probably around 5 times a week, I'd say.
5?
5, yeah.
I go through phases.
Do you?
Yeah, sometimes it'll be like twice a day for like 4 days.
Yeah.
And then I'll have like a dry spell for like a week.
Recharge.
Yeah. And if my girlfriend's round, super Sal, it's probably like, well, I don't fire one off on my own. Like one gets fired off like every other day.
Okay.
Would you like to ask the next question?
Yeah, I'll ask the next question. What was it? will artificial intelligence help mankind to walk amongst the stars?
Yeah. Do robots give you like existential dread that like?
See, I'm asking you a question. You just go, yeah, and instead of expanding upon your answer, robots give you access.
Well, it's okay, yeah, but I'm expanding on it by saying, I'm expanding on the question.
You asked me a question. You started talking about yourself.
But that's because you'd finished.
Okay.
That's because you'd made your point, and then I decided that I was gonna then chime in with my bit.
Right.
I was going to expand on it. By saying,
expand on it.
Well, what I was going to say was, robots taking over. I was talking about like artificial intelligence when I talk about robots.
Yeah.
Right. They give me existential dread about whatever career choice I take. I feel like the robots are going to like potentially just take up those jobs.
Mm.
And they're like, what is our purpose?
Okay.
But I think in our lifetime, are you talking, when you ask a question about AI helping us go to the stars,
yeah,
do you think that's happening in our lifetime? Or are you talking like just general civilization?
Well, I don't think it'll happen in our lifetime, but I reckon probably in our grandkids' lifetime, that sort of age, or our great grandchildren, potentially. But I think artificial intelligence will have a big role to play in that.
I think that people will be going in our lifetime,
Going where?
like to Mars and stuff.
I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
I think they will be going, but it's like the moon, in the sense of they just go there.
Kick a few rocks and come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think people actually staying there for longer than a year is going to be realistic.
No.
But yeah. You satisfied with that, Adam?
Yeah, I'm satisfied.
Do you want me to
with
ask
that.
you a question?
Yes, ask me the next question.
Oh God. Okay, right. This one's not bad this time.
Okay.
You're safe for this question.
Okay.
It gets worse after.
Right.
But so if let's say this blew up,
Yeah.
okay, would you go on a date with a fan? Like if somebody came up to you and was like, "Oh my God, it's amazing," and then you were like, "Can I have your phone number?" and they gave you their phone number, right?
Yeah.
Would you go on a date?
No, because Adamazing keeps his public persona and his personal life completely separated.
Really? So you wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No. I wouldn't. No.
Okay. My chair is sinking into the floor here. Oh God, the chair legs come out. I like how he's come down here. He thinks that, I guess up there he thinks he's going to get sprayed with the hose pipe, and he thinks he's safe. He thinks he's safe down here.
My next question is, how do you stay motivated?
I think I'm slightly delusional.
Delusion.
Yeah, I think it is actually delusion. Like I'm deluded to the idea that like I could create something. I could create something that can support me financially. Doing do something that I really like. I think I'm deluded that it's possible, because obviously the chances of doing something that I really enjoy and living off of it is like 0.00001% chance, especially with me, because I'm stupid.
I think you just lack. I'd put this like you're scared to commit to things.
Oh yeah.
I think you've got to go all in sometimes.
I will find every reason why not to do something halfway through doing it, and then I've got to fight that. I've got to fight that sort of voice that just continuously tells me to stop. Even for this.
Yeah.
Even for this, I'm like, oh, there's just no point. I'm like, oh, I'll do it, but then I'll be like, well, we'll do one episode and then we'll never get round to filming another one. Or like,
Bit like Pleasantry podcast.
yeah, stuff keeps getting in the way. This is a lot easier than Pleasantry because I'm just saying, you know what, fuck it. I'm not interested in like making necessarily the best thing ever. Is your chair starting to...
No, I'm just sort of repositioning my leg.
I can see it's like sinking on that side. I've had to sink my back into the ground over here.
Yeah.
If you lean on that foot, get that foot to go into the ground. There you go. That might level it off better.
Right.
No, Dusty. He rolled in fox shit and my dad sprayed him with water and he hates the hose pipe, so he's legged it from the house down here to get away from the hose pipe. So I can still see green. Can you see? It's like I can literally see green in his neck. Right. What was I saying again? I can't even remember.
Motivation. I was asking you about motivation.
Yeah, and I was saying something about having doubts about this, but I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible, and like,
I really want to touch him.
just to be fun, basically. Oh no, I don't want that. Right, Dusty, fuck off. Basically, what keeps me motivated is just my delusion, and that's it. I'm not actually that motivated, I don't think. Do you think I come across motivated?
No.
No.
Not in any way.
So what makes you ask that question?
Because
you said what keeps me motivated, but that suggests that you think I'm motivated.
I was just thinking of like generic podcast questions to ask.
Okay. Yeah. Right. I get you.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Next one.
What about you though? What keeps you motivated?
Money.
Fair enough. I've forgotten all the questions, so that let's have a look. See. Right, are you ready for this one, Adam?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I don't think you are. This is gonna be an awkward silence, I reckon. Describe the most disgusting thing you've watched on the hub.
So there were these two people, a man and a woman, and they weren't married.
Right, you can ask a question. Actually, can I tell you what the most disturbing thing I saw was?
Well, bear in mind, this is going on the internet for fucking everyone to see. So yeah, if you want to embarrass yourself.
Well, so's the video that I saw. Everyone can go find the video. It's not like I'm the only one that's seen this video.
All right, yeah.
No, I'll admit, okay, I regret finishing to it, okay?
Right.
But it's disgusting, and I don't know what came over me, honestly. POV. POV toilet cam, right?
Yeah.
Of the gentleman's relish coming out of the cat.
Right. Okay.
Don't worry, my girlfriend knows I watched it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
See, you asked me, right? You asked me that question because you wanted to talk about this. It's the only reason he asks me these questions, because he goes, oh yeah, by the way, did you... Anyway, I'm going to tell you about time that I...
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Because if you want to just record yourself saying, right, this is how much of a degenerate I am, right, and you should fucking like ringing them off. If you want to do that on your own, that's fine, but you ask me, oh yeah, Adam, what's the time? Oh yeah, anyway. That's all this is. That's all this is. Super Jake just wants to, what's the best way to invest my ISA allowance?
Oh, that's a good one. You know, coming from a semi... I didn't mean that. Coming from a semi-finance channel, I am kind of overly interested in numbers and stuff. The best way to invest your ISA allowance is to decide what you're using your money for.
Right, okay.
And when you're going to use it.
Right, okay.
Because like obviously, we've discussed it before, you know, there's like some ISAs are just literally for putting your money in and nothing else. They're just for saving and earning tax-free interest. But then you've got like the lifetime ISA, which has got a lot of rules, which Martin Lewis from Money Saving Expert doesn't like the rules.
Right.
Particularly the rule where if you take your money out, you get taxed, not taxed, you have to pay a fee, which is 25%. So that means that when the government give you the bonus of £1,000 and all your interest you've been earning, all of it, you pay 25% fee on. And even if you've gained interest and you've gained the bonus, and let's say your ISA has grown by 25%, and you then withdraw all of it, because the value of your ISA has grown, it means that the 25% that you get charged when you remove your money is more than the bonus and the interest you just earned. So you actually end up with less money, which is why if you're doing the lifetime ISA, you need to absolutely make sure that you're definitely going to be buying a house.
Yeah.
And it has to be open for at least 1 year before you can use it for a house.
Okay.
And the house has to be under a certain amount. I think it's like 300,000.
I suppose because it's a government thing, they want to be able to make money off it somehow, don't they?
Well, when I was doing my research on the housing market crash, right? So basically, one of the reasons why the housing market has gone up is not just to do with population growth. It's actually to do with the population composition. Specifically, just people in general have more money now, despite what people say. Generally, we have more money, and that's made us be able to buy houses. More people can now buy houses, and interest rates have dropped, meaning that people can buy more expensive houses because they'll be lent more money. And all of this combined, and to do with population increase, that has caused the housing market to increase because the demand has gone up. More people want to buy, meaning people can charge more for houses. That's why.
Okay.
And then back to the ISA thing. Due to government schemes like the Help to Buy ISA, where they're giving people money, that's made buying a house even more easier. It's made it more accessible, and that in turn has inflated the prices even more. Because you could say the government giving people money to buy houses means that people have more money, meaning the price of a house can be higher because people have more money. So there's a question about whether or not the Help to Buy ISA has even helped anyone. Do you know what a snowball kiss is? And would you do it?
No, I don't know what a snowball kiss is, and no, I would not do one.
And then this is where I then move on to what I want to talk about. So
That's all this is.
Yeah, and this is all this is, yeah.
So you're just talking about stuff that you want to talk about.
What do you think a snowball kiss? Well, yeah, that's the whole point of a podcast, is talking about stuff I want to talk about. I thought, like, genuinely, I don't mind having the contrast of you asking sensible questions and me asking stupid questions. I think that's actually a really good balance to have, because you've got both sides of it then, and that kind of makes it more funny. Because I was talking about this before, where you're kind of like, you're the straight guy, you're the straight man.
Yeah.
You know, in like a comedy duo. I'm just not funny. That's the difference. You're the straight guy, and then I'm just like a clown, basically. I'm not even funny.
Green dog.
Right, yeah. So what do you think a snowball kiss is?
When you make a snowball and you kiss it.
Right. What it is the man delivers his payload into a woman's mouth.
Right.
Then the man kisses the woman, and while he kisses her, he extracts the payload into his own mouth. Then he goes downstairs, starts making love with his mouth, and then he delivers the payload into that area. Would you do that?
No, I wouldn't. So, yeah, he doesn't care about what my answer is. All he wants to do is just talk about this.
No, I do care.
Talk about
I
this
do care
on camera. Oh, I've got to talk about this on camera. Oh, I got to. Somehow I got to.
I told you this might be the first and last podcast we ever do.
Yeah. So my next question is for Jake. What would be our generation's great struggle? Will our generation have a great struggle?
Well, do you think we're already going through one? To answer your question, yes, I think we will.
Yeah. What do you think it'll be?
I think possibly like the over prescription of like maybe like antidepressants maybe.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there's not enough programs for people to like join. This might be a controversial opinion. People might hate me for saying this.
Yeah.
National service would probably be quite a good thing maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Potentially could be, yeah.
I think
people like yourself, it'll help.
yeah, probably would actually.
Yeah.
I think that people misunderstand national service because people think national service is like sending everyone to go and fight, but that's not what it is. Like, 'cause I saw Nicola Milana did a video like a week ago about him running for prime minister.
Yeah.
And in that he was saying about Rishi Sunak wanting to sign everyone up to national service and sending them all to war, which is like, first off, what a lot of people don't understand is training everyone for war technically reduces the chance of war. If a country is more prepared for war, it's less likely to be attacked. That's one thing. The second thing, national service is literally just volunteering in the NHS and then being trained to do certain army exercises, but you're not actually in danger.
No.
So, and I'm sure a lot of people, even if they have difficulties or whatever, like disabilities or whatever, they probably wouldn't need to do the military bit or something. They would just do the NHS volunteering. And I'm pretty sure it's only like 1 day a week or something. It's not like, I don't know if it's a full program for a whole year. Maybe it is, I'm not sure.
Depends on what you plan. I know it used to be you go away for a couple of years.
Yeah. I think our like grandparents did it. Don't think our parents didn't do it,
no.
though, did they?
No.
No. Some countries still do it.
Yeah, I believe Finland still do it.
Yeah. But good. But yeah, I think probably that will be our biggest challenge. Just people suffering mentally. And we don't know how to deal with it. Because at the moment our only like option is to just give people tablets for it.
Yeah.
But I think it's missing the point of like why people got to that point. But yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
What horrible question is Super Jake going to ask
This
me
is
next?
this podcast is like fucking whiplash. It goes from like debating the country to then like talking about blowjobs. Actually, no, I've got a normal one here for you.
What is it?
Have you ever thought about just running away?
Just running away?
Yeah, just saying, you know what, fuck this, I'm out.
Well, we all do that thing when we're younger, we have an argument with our parents, we go running away, and get to the bottom of the drive and you get scared and turn back. I did that a couple of times when I was like 8.
Yeah.
But no, I never really thought about just running away. I suppose I'm a bit too normal to think about things like that.
You've never really thought, like in your adult life, never really thought about it?
I thought a bit about moving away, but...
Is it just like...
It's the unknown, isn't it? It's the fear of the unknown, I think.
And there's nothing too like extreme going on in your life to kind of make you
nothing,
go that far?
Nothing too extreme to warrant that, no.
No. Do you think you could if something went wrong? Like, okay.
Run away? What, like, oh, I'm going to go move to a different country?
It doesn't have to be a different country. It just maybe to England or something. Like, I don't know, let's just say, for instance...
Run away.
Let's just say something happened in your family,
Yeah.
and the house got sold,
Yeah.
right, and you couldn't move it back in with anyone.
Right.
You had to just be on your own.
Yeah.
Like, and let's say you lost your job at the same time.
Yeah.
Would that be enough to, like, would you do something radical, maybe?
Yeah, yeah, I might do something radical. Like use my savings to go live somewhere else. Something like that, perhaps. Yeah. It depends on the circumstances. Like now, I wouldn't run away.
Yeah.
You know,
So like
when you're a kid, you're like, oh, I'm going to run away. When you're an adult, it's more like, oh, I'm going to move. I'm going to move somewhere. I'm going to live an alternative lifestyle, you know. It's not like, people don't call it running away, do they?
No. So you would describe then, you're pretty content?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. Was 9/11 an inside job?
Okay, this is what I think.
Okay.
I don't necessarily believe it was an inside job.
Right.
However, I think that they knew it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
and they decided not to prevent it. So I don't think that it was planned by the US government, but I think the US government knew that it was being done.
Right.
And they have two options. Well, they had two options of either it was a mistake and they somehow miscommunicated and it let it happen,
Yeah.
or they deliberately missed out on, deliberately like deleted evidence to allow it to happen. But I don't think it was them. I don't think the US government actually like performed it, but I think they allowed it to be done.
Okay, that's an interesting take. Okay.
Yeah. Because when you think about it, like, someone has let that happen. Let a plane fly off course for fucking hours or whatever it was. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like it was allowed to happen, as opposed to, you know, there were no jets flying next to the aeroplane and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They would have shot it down, and they didn't.
What about all the civilians on board the airplane that they killed? They shot the jet down, shot the aircraft down.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, would that look even worse on them? It's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't really look into it. I know that, like, whenever I'm on like reels or whatever, you always see like someone will be like, "Oh yeah, it's a conspiracy." The next one is like, "This is why it's not a conspiracy." You know what I mean? Like, you get these continuous, just like conflicting videos of people chatting shit, and they don't even know what they're talking about. They're just like you and me chatting about it. Like, we don't know what the fuck we're talking about, but because we've said it, you know, 500,000 people will believe it for some reason.
My last question for Super Jake is, has the Industrial Revolution and its consequences been a disaster for the human race?
I would say no, on the basis of like a suffering point of view, maybe. It's hard to gauge exactly, because I was thinking, you know, if you were to take suffering as a percentage, back in the day, let's just say, I have no idea, I'm just making everything up. Let's say 50% of people were suffering like 200 years ago from all sorts of stuff, diseases.
Yeah. Well, more than 200 years ago.
Yeah. When was the Industrial Revolution?
Super Jake didn't go to school.
Well, it happened in the 1800s, right?
The 1800s, yeah.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm saying, like, okay, yeah, so it's more than 200 years ago. Yeah, so before it, right? Let's just say suffering was 50%. And obviously the population back then was tiny. It was like 1 million people or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or even less than 1 million people, I think. Today, because there's more people, let's say nowadays only 10% of people suffer.
Yeah.
That 10% might be more than the entire population of people that existed then. So you could make the argument that today more people suffer.
Yeah.
Just the percentage of people that suffer is less.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, I would say technically there's less suffering, but actually there's more. So I think it's kind of cancelled itself out, and maybe it hasn't really helped anyone.
So has the Industrial Revolution and its consequences been a disaster for the human race? You just talked about suffering. Everything else.
I don't know the numbers, but I would say
microplastics in people's brains. Earlier on, you talked about the over prescription of antidepressants.
I would say,
you know, we're ravaging our world's ecosystem.
I would say, okay, for me and you,
ravaging the world's resources, and
for me and you, in the Western world,
yeah,
I think suffering has definitely gone down.
Yeah.
But as the whole world, I think suffering has probably gone up.
Yeah, yeah.
And just because there's just more people exist, and it doesn't matter if you get that. I imagine even if you got suffering down to less than 1% of the whole population were suffering, of whatever, that's probably still more people suffering than there were suffering 400 years ago. Just because there's so many more people. So from that point of view, yeah, I think.
So you think the Industrial Revolution has been a disaster for the human race?
I guess in that regard, yes.
Okay.
Probably, but for us, it's not. But a bigger picture, yes.
Right. Okay.
But you know, us living in Britain, like, come on, it's good. I think. What do you think? You seem unconvinced.
Well, it's not my question, is it? It's your question.
Okay.
If you want to ask me intellectual questions, then go ahead.
Well, I thought we'd just have a little discussion about the questions at hand, but that's fine by you if you don't want to
Yeah.
answer them. Right, well, let's lower your IQ now. I don't know what this next one is. We need to... Dusty,
Lucky that can of Coke was empty.
would you rather your dad or your brother? And I've had some time to think about this one.
So again, you say you've had some time to think about this one. So, okay, would you rather your dad or your brother?
No, I want you to answer, and then I'm going to give you my analysis
Okay,
on
so
which one I think would be better.
okay, so I'm not going to answer that question.
You're going to
No.
refuse to answer that
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Remember, we're just pretending. It's not real.
Yeah,
Just
I know,
pretend.
but I'm not answering
And also,
that question.
I haven't even said, would you rather what? I'm just saying, would you rather? And you've made the assumption of something which might say more about you. I'm just kidding. So you're not going to answer.
No.
All right.
But I know you would love to answer this
I would
question.
love
so
to answer
I'm
this
going to give you,
question.
let
Right,
you
so-
take centre stage here.
So the dilemma is, if you do your brother, you and your brother have got to live with that for your whole lives, which could be another like 60 years. Mm-hmm. If you do it with your dad, if you guys were the only ones that knew, your dad's only got like 30 years left. So that's less time to have to like be on the earth with them, knowing that this has happened. Because it's a bit of closure, isn't it, once they're gone? Whereas if it's your brother, it's your whole life.
Yeah.
So based on that, does that change your opinion about which one?
Again, no comment. I'm not going to answer these silly questions, these silly immature questions you're asking me.
You got no more questions, have you?
No.
So we're going on to my last question. What is your biggest concern with this podcast?
People I know seeing it.
But okay, has it been that bad?
Well, it's been quite bad, yeah. It has been quite bad.
Would you do another one?
If it wasn't just so like vulgar, and if it wasn't so like, I'm going to ask Adam this question just so I can answer it myself. I don't care what he has to say.
So what you want, so your constructive criticism is, you want me to ask more questions that you can actually answer.
Yeah, not like weird stuff, and you're like, like I said earlier, and you're just like, just you wanting to answer the questions yourself.
Okay, so
Like
that's fair enough.
Like
I
you can
get-
just record a video like one of your Tom Scott style videos of you talking about these things.
No, but it's funny when I've got you to react with.
Right.
Like I find it quite funny because I know the reason I'm asking them is because I know that you'll have like a problem with them, and that for me is just quite
Yeah.
amusing because
Okay,
you don't
yeah.
have to answer them. Like I'm not forcing you
No,
to answer, and if you
no.
want anything cut, like I'll cut it.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I get your perspective. I'll try and make more questions that you can answer, and I'll have like just two that are, two that are vulgar, and then the rest of them try and make it more sensible for you.
Yeah.
But I think it is quite funny. Would you do another one?
Probably not.
You're not going to do another one? No,
No.
you're actually not.
No.
So this is what my fear was.
Super Jake's ruined it for himself.
Snowball
Snowballs.
kiss.
Yeah, whatever the fuck you want to talk about.
Yeah, but like, there's nothing wrong
Or
with
like
talking about that.
POV toilet cam. Super Jake's just admitted to watching.
But why does that matter? Well, but like this isn't you.
It's
You
like-
haven't
it's
admitted
like,
to it.
No, it's like all the front. They're like, oh, I really want to you're there like, oh, I got to get this off my chest. I got to get this off my chest, I have to tell people.
Well, I just thought it was funny, and like you don't have to answer anything,
No, I don't.
and it's on me. Like, it's on me.
Yeah.